Becoming a desperate housewife doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of heartache, and Nicolette Sheridan got an early start. Nicolette came from a broken home in Sussex, England. She was just a baby when her parents split up. 5 years later, in 1969, Mom Sally hooked up with aspiring actor Telly Savalas.
She really sort of grew up with him, and she had a half-brother who was fathered by Telly Savalas.
In 1973, Savalas landed the role of a lollipop-loving TV detective named Kojak. Telly and Sally moved 10-year-old Nicolette and toddler Nicholas to Los Angeles. Then, a few years later, Savalas hit the road.
He was really busy with his career at the time, and I think that she really, wanted a father figure in her life.
In the late 70s, Nicolette also wanted a career. She signed with New York's elite modeling agency. But Mom had some unfinished business. In 1980, Sally filed a $5 million palimony suit against Telly Savalas. Sally won custody of Nicholas and a reported $1 million. Nicolette earned her own cash scoring commercial gigs. Along the way, Sheridan connected with one of Hollywood's young guns.
She met Leif Garrett, who was a huge teen superstar sensation at the time.
It was instant, wow. It was love, at first sight.
She actually moved in with him and his mom.
He was wild and crazy, and we were all wild and crazy back then. He used to get us all in his car, and he'd drive like millions of miles an hour. They argued quite a bit, and I remember always being upset, but he's like, I'm just so in love with her. And he's like, look at her, how could you not be? And, he was right, She was a little heartbreaker.
While Nicolette explored life with Leif, future housewives Marcia Cross and Felicity Huffman set their sights on the New York stage. In 1984, Marcia graduated from the prestigious Juilliard School. Felicity earned her degree from New York University and joined a talented group of actors, including William H. Macy.
We're both members of the Atlantic Theater Company when it first started up in 1985. I thought he was awful cute, and I thought he was beyond my reach. And I was, a fat college student with glasses on, like an error. So I didn't think he'd look twice at me. But he did. And, I've been crazy about him ever since.
Huffman then set out to conquer Broadway. Not even her #1 fan got in the way.
William H. Macy says that every time he asked Felicity Huffman to marry him, she would just kind of blow it off and be like, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
1,800 miles away in Corpus Christi, Texas, 9-year-old Eva Longoria was not even thinking about boys. In fact, Eva was a tomboy with a not-so-flattering nickname. Her family called her Prieta Fea, Spanish for ugly dark one.
Well, I always thought she was about that, to be honest. And then I saw a picture of her when she was little. And I was like, oh, okay, now I got it. Okay, she's not lying. And I know how Latinos are. They're actually a great family. They love her unconditionally.
Back in Los Angeles, Nicolette Sheridan didn't have a tight family to cheer her on. Nicolette still lived with Leif Garrett, but she grew tired of standing in his shadow. In the summer of 1984, 20-year-old Nicolette won a role in Paper Dolls, a nighttime soap about teenage models.
I was going away anyway, and you knew it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, you do. I was going away with John, and you found out, and I don't know what you did.
Be quiet, Taryn. I don't want to hear another word out of you. What I want is for you to go to that limousine and wait for me until I get there right now.
She was young, but she knew what was going on. She was kind of worldly. I thought she had a really extreme grasp of how it was done and how people moved in Hollywood.
She had a sparkle about her. She had what I always call this bubble.
Things are going to be very different from now on. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Let's get back to Chrissy.
Paper Dolls shot in Manhattan. Just down the street, 2 future housewives were also busy. Felicity Huffman on stage, Marcia Cross in the daytime drama Edge of Night. Cross played a scientist who just happened to be a nymphomaniac. Felicity and Marcia never connected with Nicolette on the New York party circuit.
She was on the scene, I'd go to these parties and she'd be there.
This was a girl who knew her way around New York City and wasn't wanting for companionship.
She was a lot of fun, though. We went out and drank loads of champagne and stuff and hung out and walked around the streets, and it was great, you know. She was really down to earth.
But some parties end too soon. Paper dolls folded after only 3 months. Sheridan snapped right back. In March 1985, she made her big screen debut playing the title role in Rob Reiner's The Sure Thing. Nicolette generated plenty of buzz, though it had nothing to do with her acting talents.
The most famous thing about The Sure Thing is that poster of Nicolette Sheridan in the bikini. That was a coming-of-age experience for many boys in America, looking at that poster.
You know, I loved doing that movie. That was such a charming film. But unfortunately, it didn't do very well. A lot of scripts didn't come my way after doing that.
Around this time, Nicolette's relationship with Leif Garrett also fell apart.
When they broke up, he was absolutely 100% devastated. Just devastated.
Nicolette's relationship with Leif Garrett lasted about 6 years. She ended the relationship just as she was starting to make a real name for herself in Hollywood.
Then, in 1986, Nicolette landed a breakthrough role in the nighttime soap Knots Landing.
This Paige Matheson, one of those larger-than-life characters where she just leaped off the small screen.
You just have to watch her on the early Knots Landing and the love scenes she had with William Devane. She was so great in those love scenes. I mean, you know, it could have been kind of like nasty because he must have been like 30 years older than her, but it wasn't. She had this kind of power and charm.
She's a charismatic gal. She's got a lot of spark. She's got a way of walking into a room, you know. Her energy is such that everyone knows she's in the room.
1986 proved to be a very good year for 2 other future housewives as well. Terry Hatcher nabbed a co-starring role on the action series MacGyver. Marcia Cross also landed a cool gig. Cross played globe-trotting Kate Sanders on the daytime drama One Life to Live.
Kate was this female Indiana Jones type archaeologist who had the spirit of adventure, and it was a very fun role.
We were presented as sort of rivals because I had been playing Tina, and with my longtime husband Cord, you know, they were bringing in another love interest for Cord, so there'd be some friction between us.
We played a lot. I was always teasing her and goofing with her. We were doing a bed scene once, and we just goof around the way actors do, and you know, at one point I said, "Hey, Marcia, you know, shave your legs like a great cheese on these legs."
But Cross wasn't all fun and games.
She is a very guarded person, so certainly backstage, you know, it was very, you know, I had to work with her for a while, and I think I had to earn her respect.
In the winter of 1987, Marcia left daytime television to pursue prime time. Yet a career in showbiz, as everybody knows, offers no guarantees. Someone should have told Nicolette, Terry, Felicity, Marcia, and Eva to fasten their seatbelts. The road to Wisteria Lane was full of potholes.